The Week 8 video. I've decided to do the Players of the Week for this week. Clearly the Offensive Player of the Week has to go to Doug Martin. Completely dominated the Vikings defense this week with almost 30 rushes, a total of over 100 or over 200 all-purpose yards, and 2 touchdowns. He had a 4.7 average and a total of 33 fantasy points and helped Dante win the week. The Defensive Player of the Week, I was thoroughly impressed with Tim Jennings this year, and he showed that he's still an elite fantasy option for the cornerback this year. With 8 solo tackles, 2 interceptions, a touchdown as well, and top it all off, 3 pass defends. 17 fantasy points is basically what a running back should be getting, not a cornerback. So keep on starting Tim Jennings, obviously. Week 7 deals, there was a couple of deals this year, this week. It actually should say Week 8. I forgot to edit that, sorry. Brandon Lloyd and Kyle Rudolph got traded for Jeremy Maclin and Brandon Myers. I have to say that I like Benchwarmer's side of this a little bit more. I think because Benchwarmers has keepers already, he's getting a better receiver in terms of fantasy points, and he's also getting a much better tight end. So I think, yes, Beast Mode just got younger, which is what he was explaining to me. He likes Jeremy Maclin a lot, and he's able to get a younger team for keeper-wise. However, I'm not touching any Eagles offensive players except for McCoy, because I don't want Michael Vick having to throw the ball to him. I hate Michael Vick, and I just am very disappointed in the Eagles this year, which is why I don't want to even touch an Eagles other than McCoy. The next deal, this isn't a big deal whatsoever, but this is the only other deal. I traded Dwyer to Gold Standard. Again, he got another Pittsburgh Steeler, and I think for me this was a good deal in the fact that Jonathan Dwyer is out this week. So I traded and got a couple of good picks, upgraded my picks a fair bit. He got a possible starting running back if he's healthy. So, I mean, we both got what we needed. However, the problem is this really doesn't help Dawson for the week that matters most. If he loses this week, he's officially out, which I think he is already. Power rankings. Obviously, I have to put Dante at the top. He's completely annihilating, just like he did last year. 991 points for. Nobody's even close to him right now. The West Division is the strongest division in my opinion. They have the most fantasy points total, I'm pretty sure. The Bus, I'm only putting him above Halababa right now because of his record. I put Halababa down so far last week, and he thought that was pretty harsh, and you know, I did get a little carried away with it, but that was a horrible performance last week. And I mean, I think he is in the top 5 spot, the top 4 more or less, and I think if he can get the same record as the Bus, he's going to go into the number 2 spot, and that West Division is completely dominating our league right now. Rushing Renegades moves down because of Halababa. Anything Goes is really struggling this year with a very difficult schedule, and for that reason, right now he's a 3-5. I still think he has a better team than I do, and so I'm putting him in the 8th spot. I'm putting myself up because I'm still winning. I have a 5-3 record. I really hate my wide receiver core, but I think that with my running game, once you get Murray back and Jeffrey back, I think my team's actually not horrible, and I think with my keepers, it's an actual elite set of keepers, and I think that I'm better than a lot of the teams that are on here. Gold Standard, as much as I like his team, he continues to lose. He has a hard schedule as well, and I think putting up the second most fantasy points against him is really struggling. He's doing a lot more fantasy points for than some of the teams like myself, but because of his 2-6 record, I have to put him so far down, regardless of the fact that he's still putting up more fantasy points. SF Niners, I put him up above winning because right now he's at a 4-4 record, and he's making a strong case that he should win the East Division. And it'll be interesting to see if it's him or James Reddy. Here's another early look at playoffs. I want to do this most weeks or every other week just to keep you guys informed about it. There's still the 4 teams that I think are guaranteed to make the playoffs. Dante, the Bus, Russian Renegades, and Halababa, those teams are guaranteed to make the playoffs. I don't see any way that they're not going to, unless they lose every single week from now on, which I can't see happening. Another team, though, that I think is going to most likely make the playoffs is Gridiron. He has an easier matchup, or an easier schedule. He's playing JRF and the Niners, and then his division. So I think right there he'll go 7-3, and based on that, as long as he can win one more week against his division, which could be against Stone Cold, he should be able to make the playoffs easy. So I don't see that there's any way that he's not going to. I'm not putting him green yet, just in case something crazy does happen, but I can't see that he misses it. So there's pretty much two battles right now. The NFC East, or not NFC, but the FFL East. I think James Reddy and SF Niners. I think those are the two teams that could be taking the East. I think Tank Destruction's on the bubble right now. I don't see him being able to make it going 2 weeks down. I think SF Niners, I'm really impressed with him because he's completely sold out, and yet he's still winning weeks. And I think for that reason, I still don't see that he's gonna take the division. But I think James Reddy's gonna take it. I think it's still the weakest division around, but I think based on his record, he should be able to do it. So it'll be interesting to see there. The other battle that's going on is basically there's 3 spots available, and 4 teams that are in the chase for that. Because I said that Gridiron most likely will take it already, there's essentially 2 spots available and 3 teams. And I think it's going to be Ogre, myself, and Rob that are all going to be fighting for that. I think when you look at it, Ogre has some injury problems. He just lost Fred Davis and Jones Drew, so he really needs to find some of those players to fix those holes, or else he's going to struggle. With playing Chargers and rushing Renegades, he should be able to go 1-1, and then he's up against his division, which is, again, the hardest division in my opinion. And it should, if he can go 6-3, all he has to do is win one game, which should be against Beast Mode, meaning he's, again, 7-3 or 7-4, and then if he loses the next 2, he's still in a good position at least. When you look at bench warmers, he's actually 4-4, I guess not 3-4. The problem with him is bad management. He's continually putting in the wrong players, and for that reason, he's losing weeks, and it's really hurting him. I suggest he uses the Bloomberg sit and start report or tool because it doesn't hurt with what he's doing with his team right now. With myself and him, we both have the same schedule. We're both playing Halababa and Dante, just inversed, and then we have our division matchups. I think for pretty much what happens is, I think Ogre has a good chance of making the playoffs. So it comes down to the 2 of us. And I think because we play each other in our division matchup, it really comes down to that game, as well as what happens in the next 2 weeks with the same schedule. Because we have the same schedule, whoever makes the playoffs, in my opinion, has the better team. I think Benchwarmers has more depth, but if he can't put in the right guys, he may have a better team, but the management is struggling. And for that reason, I think that it's going to be interesting. If Ogre can somewhat salvage some of those spots that are subject to injuries, then I think he's guaranteed to make the playoffs there because of a couple of easy matchups that he does have. Because I think between myself and Rob, we're going to win against Superchargers, which cancels that out, and it really comes down to our matchup, in my opinion. I think that's going to be an interesting matchup to see. I think it's week 12, so there you have it. I think Anything Goes also is most likely out. I think Gold Standard, both of these 2 teams, have a very hard time of making it just because of their record and their hard schedule. So because of that reason, I haven't put Anything Goes out yet, but I think that there's a very good chance that him and Stone Cold are out. Tank Destruction has to win this week or he's out as well, in my eyes, and it's pretty much down to the top 10. So there you have it for this week. I hope you enjoyed, and see you next week. Good luck, guys.